On the news, court discharges Ibom Air passenger accused of unruly conduct. Court stops Ogun State government from demolishing Benga Daniels properties. And INEC to relocate continuous voter registration centers in Osun State releases governorship election poll timetable. We're glad to have you join News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Joy Uchejim. Now, an Ikeja Magistrate Court sitting in Ogba, Lagos State has discharged Comfort Emerson, the passenger accused of unruly behavior and assault aboard an Ibom Air flight. Magistrate Olarinwaju Salami discharged Emerson following the withdrawal of the 5 charges preferred against her by the police. Earlier, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, announced the decisions following consultations with stakeholders in the aviation sector. Meanwhile, the Nigerian government has reduced the flight ban imposed on Fuji musician Wasiu Ayinde, popularly known as Kwam1, to 1 month. In a statement on Wednesday, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, also directed the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority to withdraw its criminal complaint against the singer, who will be engaged by the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria as an ambassador for proper airport security protocol. Now let's get more insight into this development. I'm now being joined by Public Affairs Analyst Jide Johnson. Thank you for coming on board, sir. Now, what's your reaction to the Aviation Ministry's decision to drop the charges against Comfort Emerson and reduce the flight ban on Kwam1, Wasiu Ayinde? Do you believe the public outcry over perceived double standards in justice influenced this decision?
Well, thank you for having me first and foremost. Well, one, you have to commend the quick response. When they do it right, we have to commend them. You have to commend the quick response of the aviation minister to this issue. The first issue with Kwam1, the second issue with this, the unfortunate one with this young lady. There was a quick response, and that's to take to the fact that the aviation minister is a lawyer and also has worked as a spokesman for a political party, so he was able to combine both the legal aspect and the communication aspect. A lot of issues were dealt with his statement and the rest of it. So as far as I'm concerned, things will go wrong, whether you like it or not. But how do you respond to issues when they go wrong? When issues are properly managed, it does not lead to crisis. So what they've done is to look into this matter critically and look at for the alternative dispute resolution. Everything doesn't have to go to court. If there are ways in which you resolve matters in such a way that at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation for everybody, and all those that are involved can learn something from it. Whether we like it or not, the airline operators in Nigeria have learned something from this. Kwam1 has learned something from this. Ordinary passengers using the air travels in Nigeria, both locally and internationally, have learned something from it. And that's thrown a lot of issues into the front burner that need to be addressed concerning passenger flight relationship and the rest of it. So as far as I'm concerned, I think they should be commended. The government should be commended for the way and manner in which they quickly address this particular issue. Some will say, oh, well, Kwam1 was given a slap on the wrist and it's as a result of comfort issue. That's why government was able to resolve this matter as quickly as possible. But whether you like it or not, we are all human beings. Fingers are not equal. One thing will lead to another. And I think it's a learning curve for every one of us that is involved in this particular sector.
Speaking of a learning opportunity, the government has appointed Kwam1 as an ambassador for airport security protocols. In your view, how effective is this strategy of turning high-profile offenders into advocates for compliance? And what risks or benefits might it pose for public perception of the aviation security?
It's turning your mess into a message. It's simple. It was a mess, and you turned the mess into a message. And then my son had a serious argument with me about this particular issue. And I told him, look, when they catch criminals in civilized crime, high-profile criminals, that help the state in solving a particular case, what do? They turn them to assets. They become assets to the society. So who is a better person to talk about airport security and the rest of it? With his profile, with his personality, it's turning your asset into liability. It was a liability, but you convert that asset into liability with the visibility and the prominence which he has, and using him and giving him the second chance. I think there's nothing wrong with it. People will always read meaning to what has been done, but the most important thing, if you look at how issues of this matter are resolved, in most cases, the state turn their mess into a message. They turn a liability into an asset. And I think what the FAA and the Ministry of Aviation has done is to turn the mess into a message and to leverage on the liability which they have to turn into an asset. And which is the better way to deliver the message? Is someone that has gone through it.
Thank you so much for your insight. Indeed, it's really turned the mess into a message. Thank you for your insight, Public Affairs Analyst Jide Johnson. Thank you for your time, sir. Now, moving on, a High Court sitting in the Shagamu Judicial Division of Ogun State has issued an interim order restraining the Ogun State government and its agents from demolishing or tampering with properties belonging to a former governor of the state, Benga Daniel. The order granted ex parte followed an affidavit of urgency filed by Daniel and his wife, Olufunke. In his ruling, Justice Oloyede barred the defendants, their allies, proxies, assigns, cronies, and any persons acting on their behalf from carrying out any demolition, enforcing the quit notice issued on August 8, 2025, or otherwise interfering with the claimant's possession of the properties. The court also restrained the defendants from any form of trespass or disturbance of the claimant's quiet possession until the hearing and determination of the substantive motion on notice. And now, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has assured that President Bola Tinubu's administration will continue to strengthen the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency due to its strategic role in Nigeria's national security architecture. Ribadu gave the assurance on Wednesday, August 13, 2025, at the commissioning of 48 operational vehicles at the NDLEA headquarters in Abuja. The vehicles, comprising 38 SUVs and 10 sedans, were distributed to zonal, strategic, and state commands, as well as key directorates across the country. Commending the chairman and chief executive officer of NDLEA, retired Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, the NSA said the agency's transformation into a results-driven force was a direct product of discipline, commitment, and effective leadership.
This event is not just about commissioning vehicles. It is about strengthening the NDLEA's mobility and operational capacity to combat the drug barons, traffickers, and criminal networks whose activities fuel violence, terrorism, kidnapping, cultism, and other organized crimes. These vehicles will serve as critical enablers, facilitating rapid deployment, improving logistics, enhancing command and control, and ensuring timely response to hotspots. To the dedicated officers of the NDLEA, this commissioning is a call to action. Use these resources responsibly, act within the law, and remain vigilant in line with our President Bola Ahmed's renewed hope agenda.
The procurement of these vehicles was made possible by the fiscal backing of this administration, which continues to demonstrate strong resolve in addressing the root causes of insecurity and social dislocation. In just 2 years of President Tinubu's administration, the NDLEA achieved significant results. We have made arrests of 40,887 drug offenders, including 45 drug barons.
Electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission in Osun State says it will relocate registration points for the forthcoming continuous voter registration exercise from local government secretariats currently under lock. Osun local government secretariats have been shut since February 17, 2025 due to a tussle between the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressives Congress over control of councils. Speaking during a stakeholders meeting in Osogbo, the state capital, on Wednesday, the resident electoral commissioner, Mutiyu Agboke, said the affected INEC officers had been identified and will be moved to alternative locations to ensure the CVR proceeds without disruptions. Agboke also announced that activities for the August 8, 2026 Osun governorship election have officially begun, with notices posted in all INEC local government offices. And in Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says despite the drop in fire incidents in the state through the use of modern technology, community willpower remains the strongest weapon to completely eliminate fire outbreaks. The governor made the remark during the Lagos International Fire Safety Conference 2.0 in Victoria Island, Lagos, where he emphasized that the success recorded so far comes from combining two powerful tools: smart technology and active community participation. TV360 correspondent Okpeyemi Owusheni has the details.
The Lagos International Fire Safety Conference 2.0 featured workshops, expert panel sessions and cutting-edge exhibitions on disaster risk management, dangerous goods handling and an expo showcasing state-of-the-art fire safety equipment. Speaking at the event, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu reminds attendees of the devastating effect of fire outbreaks on both lives and the economy, emphasizing the need for proactive measures. He urges participants to leave the conference with a shared commitment to apply every lesson learned in their homes, workplaces and communities, placing prevention ahead of reaction in tackling fire disasters in Lagos State.
We're making sure that safety becomes part of their daily life, their curriculum, so that at a very young age they understand that safety and ability to also rescue is part of the learning and the lessons that they need to have. At our various workplaces, it's not just that we want to come and disturb you, like the director had said, just about less than 10,000 facilities were visited. We want to do more. We want you to be compliant, so that when the Safety Commission comes and says to you that you must have this standard equipment in your building, it's because we never know when these incidents are going to happen. And it's our ability to be able to respond, is the ability of even the premises and the infrastructure you have in your premises that will rescue and will save your property and rescue life when they do happen.
And looking at it from the legislation parts, we are ever ready to deliver, to give to the society the input from the society. And this can be, gotten from the recently signed law.
Also speaking, the Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations, Olugbenga Oyemide, reiterates the state's strategy of combining technology with community engagement to curb fire disasters.
Remain unwavering, but committed to maintaining a fire-free Lagos, or at least reducing to the barest minimum the incident of fire in the state through activities such as this event, continuous public education, advocacy, and consistent public fire drill demonstrations, amongst others.
Well, I witnessed them in action in 3 occasions. Their response time was less than 10 minutes. It was particularly impressive. There was one particular one, it was a 12-story building. And the first truck that came, they had to go up the stairs. They all went up the stairs into the fire and put out the fire, and then they remained there for the next 4 or 5 hours.
The director of the State Fire and Rescue Service, Margaret Adeshaye, reports a significant drop in fire incidents between 2023 and 2024.
We fight not just to fight a fire, but light and fusion that shine with all the might. Fire safety is not just all about equipment. It is about people. and the best fire fought is the one prevented.
Officials disclosed that in 2024, Lagos State recorded a 20% reduction in fire incidents, saved property worth 117.12 billion naira, and rescued 450 lives. They emphasized that the path to sustaining these gains lies in pairing modern tools such as drones and smart response systems with vigilant, empowered communities. Okpeyemi Owosheni, TV360 News, Lagos.
We'll go on a short break here, but still to come, at least 20 migrants dies in shipwreck off Italy's Lampedusa. Details of this story after this break.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
Wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Here's a quick recap of some of our top stories. An Ikeja Magistrate Court in Lagos has, on Wednesday, discharged Comfort Emerson, the passenger accused of unruly behavior and assault aboard an Ibom air flight. Magistrate Olarenwaju Salami discharged Emerson following the withdrawal of the 5 charges preferred against her by the police. We also informed you that a High Court sitting in the Shagamu Judicial Division of Ogun State has issued an interim order restraining the Ogun State government and its agents from demolishing or tampering with properties belonging to a former governor of the state, Benga Daniel. The order granted ex parte followed an affidavit of urgency filed by Daniel and his wife, Olufunke. And in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on X, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. It's time for business news, and Okpeyemi Owosheni is on standby. What's the latest, Okwe?
Well, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has lowered the ex-depot gantry price of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, by 30 naira from 850 naira to 820 naira per litre. In a statement issued by its Chief Branding and Communications Officer, Anthony Chijena, the refinery confirmed that the new price took effect on Tuesday, the 12th of August 2025. The refinery described the adjustment as part of its steadfast commitment to national development and assured the public of a steady and uninterrupted supply of petroleum products. Now, despite persistent challenges such as economic strains, resource deficits, and long-standing insecurity, the Nigerian government says Nigeria's economy remains on a steady path towards growth. Nigeria's Minister of Information has outlined the country's economic and political progress, reaffirming the government's commitment to achieving its ambitious $1 trillion economy target. The Minister of Information says collaboration between the Nigerian government and state governors is helping to free up resources for essential projects and enabling leaders at all levels to meet democratic promises to citizens.
Endure some pain, and this is what we have gone through. But I can tell you that Nigeria's economy is now on a solid footing, and it is going towards the destination that Mr. President has promised. The $1 trillion economy, we're gradually going there. Food sufficiency, we're going there. Insecurity that has bedeviled this country for a long period of time is being tackled by Mr. President, being tackled by all the governors. The kind of deficit that the governors and the central government is having in terms of resources is also being tackled. You can see that resources are being freed for governors and the central government to have enough for them to deliver the promises of democracy that they've given to their people. I think it's work in progress, but we're happy with where we are going. We think that Nigeria will be better off for it. Well, my job is to communicate, to tell Nigerians what is happening, to tell Nigerians the effort that government is making, and we have come here to consult, to discuss, and it is that same messaging. As Minister of Information, I don't build roads, I don't build hospitals, I don't construct classrooms. My job is to ensure that the business of government is known to Nigerians. And this is one of such consultations that we do to ensure that Nigerians get to know about policies and programs of government so that all of us will be in alignment for the progress and for the unity of our dear country.
It's time for a short break now, but we'll be back with update from the stock market. Welcome back. Now, the stock market on Wednesday recorded its first negative close this week as investors gradually take profits in major gainers. The market moved into the negative territory as investors sold mostly banking, consumer goods and industrial stocks. Now, that's despite bagging onto the insurance and oil and gas stocks. At the close of trading, the stock market decreased by 0.13%, moderating the year's return to 41.72%, while the month return dropped down to 4.29%. Now, leading the laggards, we see Thomas Waitt decreasing the most after his share price moved from 3 naira 80 kobo to 3 naira 42 kobo. It was followed closely by UPDC, who was also one of the major laggards league, after his share price decreased from 8 naira 69 kobo to 8 naira. Now, in 30,737 deals, investors exchanged 1 billion shares valued at 20.2 billion naira. Now, globally, markets on Wednesday continue to maintain its upward position as all our global indices ended in the bulls, as you can see from the chart behind me. Now, moving back to the currency front, the naira traded at 1,560 naira to the United States dollars, 2,105 naira to the pound, and 1,795 naira to the euro. And that's it on both business and stock market updates. Back to you, Joy, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Okwe. And now on the foreign scene, at least 20 people have died in a migrant shipwreck off the southern Italian island of Lampedusa, with the UN warning that more victims may still be missing as search efforts continue. According to the UN Refugee Agency and the Italian Red Cross, rescuers have recovered 20 bodies so far, while 60 survivors, 56 men and 4 women have been brought ashore in Lampedusa. Authorities said the migrants were traveling from Libya, marking the latest tragedy in the dangerous Mediterranean crossing from Africa to Europe. And still on the foreign scene, Typhoon Podul battered Taiwan on Wednesday, forcing businesses to close, grounding flights, and cutting power to tens of thousands of households as part of mainland China braced for the storm's arrival. The Central Weather Administration reported Wind gusts reaching up to 178 kilometers per hour shortly before the typhoon made landfall in Taotong County, southeastern Taiwan. According to the National Fire Agency, one person is missing after being swept away while fishing, and 33 others have been injured. And finally, on sports, Nigeria's senior men's basketball team, the Tigers, will begin its quest on Wednesday for a second FIBA AfroBasket title when they square up against Madagascar in their opening Group B fixture at the Paulo Motilas de Luanda in Angola. The Tigers will be making its 20th appearance in the history of the FIBA AfroBasket Championship since the tournament made its debut in 1692. They will be seeking to begin their campaign on a strong note as they bid to win only a second African title. This clash marks the first meeting between both countries in 14 years. And it was a blend of learning, skill building, and excitement at the 2025 Zen Archery Summer Camp held at the Teslim Balogun Stadium in Lagos. The program not only developed confidence and focus in young participants, but also brought moments of pride and satisfaction for parents and guardians. TV360 correspondent Mudashiru Shitu files this report.
Energy filled the Teslim Balogun Stadium as young archers showcased their skills at the 2025 Zen Archery Summer Camp. Now in its second year, the camp is fast gaining a reputation for grooming Nigeria's next wave of archery champions. More than 13 participants from Lagos and Ibadan took part in the rigorous training sessions designed to shape technique and nurture sportsmanship. For 11-year-old Lukman Olusesi, the under-11 champion, the goal is crystal clear to compete on the world stage.
I kept on seeing archery in some of the fields I watch, the games I play. I sometimes see it in the places I go. So I decided to try it for myself. And I went to my sister's school to go to an amusement park which had archery inside so I could practice it. I was good at first and then I started doing better. And then I graduated from school and that's how my mom asked me if I would practice archery, and then I said yes, that I would love to. And then I came across Zen Archery, which was the place that gave me hope to soon become the greatest archer.
Archery is still a growing sport in Nigeria, but parents say initiatives like the Zen Archery Summer Camp have the potential to create future champions in the sport.
I see archery as a very special and distinct game from every other game in the whole world, and because people don't really see the beauty in archery gives you focus. You can focus. When you focus doing that, academically for the children, it's easy.
I think he has taught them focus and then ability to also compete and go for something, like reach out for something and then try your best to win.
The camp's founder, a member of Nigeria's archery team, says the tournament has already revealed talent with Olympic ambitions. He also announced a special donation of archery equipment by the Zen Archery Foundation to 3 outstanding young athletes.
Kudos to the parents for bringing them, and kudos to the coaches also for teaching them, and kudos to the children also for gaining interest in archery. I mean, it's not every kid you see that will want to really start practicing the game of archery. But these ones have found their interest in archery, and I think it's a good way for them to go.
The event ended on a high note with a vibrant award ceremony celebrating excellence and sportsmanship. Every participant received a certificate, while winners in each category were gifted professional archery equipment, a step towards grooming Nigeria's future champions.
And that wraps up our bulletin on News Now. Many thanks for joining us. I am Joy Ucheje. See you next time.